Okay, this first hand we have ace king. There's a min raise, and here decides to 3-bet. And in this situation, game is a 28-14 over 102 with a fold versus 3-bet of 0%. So in this situation, I'm certainly going to be 3-betting as well. My only real gripe here is going to be with the size. Now, it may be a little awkward if you've never played 8 cent, 16 cent before to figure out exactly how many big blinds this is. But a more typical 3-bet size is going to be like 9 to 10 big blinds, right? So about $1.50 to $1.60 in that range, give or take. So this $1 3-bet is definitely on the smaller side of the spectrum. Now it is roughly 3x what game opens, but when someone opens for a min raise or opens for like a 2.5x raise, I'm usually going to keep my 3-bet size in its more traditional place. So 9 big blinds, 10 big blinds, something in that range. So in this situation, I'd certainly like a larger size 3-bet, probably in like the $1.50 range. And again, someone who doesn't seem to be all that good, big gap in the VPIP PFR, usable sample size, I'm probably going to think that this is definitely going to be for value. So definitely going to make it a little bit larger, plus we have position, which makes life even easier. So we end up going heads up to it. He checks, and here decides to continuation bet for pretty much half pot. So in this situation, I can be on board with the continuation bet, really just trying to fold out his equity from things like ace king, ace queen, that sort of stuff. Never going to fold out a set, never going to fold out tens plus, but it's really just one of those to try to get him to fold out his equity. And if he was bad enough to say call with sixes or sevens or something, totally fine trying to get those to fold as well. They may not fold 100% of the time, but that's okay. And the times that he does call, we always have position, most likely almost always have equity, and we'll just simply go forward and play from there. So end up getting called jack on the turn, check, here decides to bet. So hero bets for roughly 2/3 here. And if you've never done kind of the break-even analysis, you can always find the break-even percentage by doing risk divided by risk plus reward. So the risk here is how much we're risking, so bet size, which is $3. The reward is $4.74, aka what's in the pot. So 3 divided by 3 plus 4.74 equals 39%. So if we can get folds here at least 39% of the time, very happy to make the bluff. Now, the more equity we think we have, the less folds we need right this very moment, but with only one card to come, and it is possible that our ace or king could be slightly tainted, it's one of those where I'm probably not factoring that in a tremendous amount. I'm more just focused on, can I get enough folds right this moment? So now at this point, we have to think about what he would min raise with preflop, call a 3-bet out of position, check call the flop with, and fold on the turn. And it's a little uncomfortable because if he has something like, say, pocket jacks that turned it, he's never going to fold. If he has pocket tens, he picked up a two-way straight draw, he doesn't look like a great player, so he's probably not going to fold that. And what else would he fold? If you peel the flop off with ace king or ace queen, okay, we can get that to fold, but is that really going to be a large chunk of his range? Or is a large chunk of his range now going to be things like pairs or maybe like a 10-9 or jack-10, something like that? So I'm not convinced that we can get enough folds here. I just don't think he's going to be folding any sort of pair and draw. I just am not expecting a lot of folds in this exact situation. So because of that, I'd probably just say forget it, check this behind, try to get to showdown, maybe improve on the river for free, as opposed to bet in a situation where I just don't expect the folds to happen at a high enough frequency. So that's just kind of where I'm at in this situation. I think this is a little bit aggressive and unnecessarily so against someone like this. So we end up getting called. River is a 10, very interesting card, puts the 4 straight on board. He checks, and here decides to use it to his advantage with an $8 bet. So same thing if we do the break-even analysis, risk divided by risk plus reward, we find we need 43% folds here. So if we can expect at least that, we should bluff. If we don't, we should not bluff. Literally could not be any simpler than that. So in this situation, I'd ask myself, can I realistically get enough things to fold? The 10 is an interesting card because it now fills up pocket tens. If he had jack 10 or 9-10, it now gives it 2 pair, even though the board's very scary. And obviously, if he has like pocket queens or whatever, he's never going to fold. So my only real question here is, can I get him to ever fold 2 pairs and or sets? If he has pocket tens and improved, or if he played jacks like that, whatever. Can I get sets or 2 pairs to fold? If yes, I'm much more on board going for this bet, no problems. It's a very scary river, puts up the 4 straight on board. That's certainly realistic that we could have and would apply a massive amount of pressure. So I could totally be on board with that. But if we don't think we can fold out sets in 2 pair, I think this is really bad and way too optimistic. Because we're not going to fold out queens, we're not going to fold out jack 10, pocket 10s, whatever. And I just think this is the kind of situation where Hero would be spewing. So it really just boils back to the sets in 2 pairs. If they can fold a lot, go for it. If they can't fold a lot, well, then you're probably going to get looked up by this way too often and you're going to lose the pot. So it's kind of an interesting situation because it is a 3-bet pot. The ranges are naturally a little bit different than, say, a single raise pot. But I do think the Hero's being a bit too active, a bit too aggressive in a situation where he'd be better off. Again, probably not even betting the turn. And as play the river is certainly questionable, and it really just boils back to the 2 pair sets question. If you can generate folds from those, by all means fire. If not, probably going to be more selective and save my $8 instead.